Traveling Telescope is a social enterprise that focuses on two main areas, education, and we do astrotourism. Astrotourism is the tourism of the sky, the night sky, where you get people to appreciate the night sky. We offer guests an opportunity to look through our telescopes as we give them a guided tour of the night sky, what we call a star safari. When I first looked through a telescope in my 20s and saw Saturn and the rings, and I saw the moon and craters and everything, and I had never looked through a telescope, and just seeing that obviously sparked something, and I really wanted to share what I had experienced, especially with school kids. Fast forward about 10 years after that, I had already gotten into an astronomy outreach program, and my husband, at that time wasn't my husband, we met during a trip I'd organized to Turkana, which is in the northern part of Kenya, to go and witness a total solar eclipse that was only going to last, the totality was only going to last 13 seconds.
We formed the Travelling Telescope kind of out of an idea which I just started to do in the UK. And I was actually waiting for a ferry in Scotland to go across this to try and find some of these dark places in the UK. And then I heard that there was going to be an eclipse in Kenya. And so I eventually got in touch with Susan, who I didn't know, and I was just, can I film you giving out these solar safe glasses? Because she had been given 5,000 solar safe glasses to give to kids. And so, yeah, I met her and followed her as we did this.
So a group of people got on an overland track, and that included Chu Owen, and we traveled across to the northern parts of Kenya. And that's where we met, and we learned that we both really loved sharing about the wonders of the universe, and we really got along and decided to set up the Travelling Telescope.
We have two sides of our company, the Travelling Telescope. We've got the sort of education side, and we're very passionate about keeping that going. But to do that, we use the tourism, the astrotourism, to sort of keep us sustainable and keep us going in finances and stuff. So although I'm not an astrophysicist, I actually come from the background of more of the arts. So I started out being interested in music and art and painting, and then photography. And then through photography, I got interested in cameras and lenses. And a telescope is basically a massive lens on the sky. And for me, once I started to see these views that you can see in telescopes, you kind of get this, hang on a minute, that's always up there and I've never seen it. So it kind of makes you want to share that view, for me anyway. I was like, especially Saturn's rings, they're hanging there in space and they're so 3D and they change, they do this over 26 years.
Telescopes are tools that astronomers use to look at the heavenly bodies. And what telescopes do is that they use the light that's coming from these things. So they detect the light, then the telescopes can get information about these objects. So I'm looking at the sun. What is the sun made of? What elements are in the sun? I'm looking at other star systems. What is in these star systems? Are there planets there? So telescopes using light coming from these objects, whether the objects are emitting the light like the stars or reflecting the light like the planets, we can learn more about these things.
Once you start getting more interested in astronomy, you start to actually to realize that you don't get humans without a planet, or any animal without a planet. You don't get planets without stars. So I see astronomy as kind of bringing people together. We all share the sky. All communities on Earth have names for the sun, the moon, and the planets. And so when we go to a school in some of these rural areas of Kenya, we start from that kind of place. I talk about, my Swahili's terrible, but I know that mwezi is the moon. And it's a real direct connection when you talk about how time and calendars have evolved.
One thing I remember was we had gone to a school in Machakos. So we obviously have the telescope and kids get to look through the telescope and it's exciting, but we also have a mobile planetarium that we take. So we had taken this planetarium and this boy comes out and he says, I now believe in science. It's no longer a lie. I believe I've seen Saturn. This is a very exciting time for Kenya because Kenya has a space agency. It's young, but we do have a space agency. We're one of the few countries in Africa that has a space agency. We have history of space exploration. And obviously with the space agency, you know, we can access more people, more schools. There's opportunity for people to have jobs. The young, the Gen Zs can get employed in the space industry. I strongly feel that every child should have at least a chance to either look through the telescope or visit a planetarium at least once in their lifetime. We built a planetarium out of bamboo. The dome is out of bamboo. It's so cool. And it's the only bamboo built. It's the only bamboo planetarium in the world. I hope we can replicate this in areas across Africa that would want to have planetarium. There's something about the young girl or boy who looks through a telescope for their first time and just stands there. And I have one of the photos that I'm not the photographer most of the time that we have is of this young boy in Turkana looking through a telescope, and then he looks at the sky and he just looks at it. And I think for me, it's almost like we're giving these young people an opportunity to experiment, to explore this universe, this observatory they have that's free and beautiful, because most remote places have beautiful unpolluted skies. And hopefully they can, you know, begin to wonder what's up there and everything. So looking at a young girl, for example, and seeing that expression of wow, it's almost like we've revealed something that they've almost always had, is always so exciting. And what we hope as a traveling telescope is that we can encourage people to just look up. Just look up and enjoy the beautiful, unpolluted sky. Look at the planets, look at the stars, and just wonder and let that take you somewhere. It's good for your mental health, and it's just generally good to just remind you of your unique space in the universe. So just look up.